Hello friends, it's Coop from Garage Gym Reviews, and today I'm reviewing Kabuki's budget-ish power bar. They're not calling it a budget power bar, but really compared to their other bars, especially their new gym power bar, which by the way has dropped in price point recently, it's deflationary. It's crazy. But this is their Oregon power bar, still made in the USA, still has some really killer specs, has some things that makes me question a little bit, but I'm gonna review it today, give you my honest thoughts, and compare it to other power bars that are out there. Let's get into it. Okay, I'll run through some of the specs. 190K tensile strength is what the shaft is. Most power bars are around that. Sometimes you see more, like say Rogue is using 200 on their stainless. Some companies are using 205, but 190 is kind of standard. Kabuki, their other power bar, the new gym power bar, is 250K tensile strength, which when that first came out, I remember, and people are like, that is gonna be too brittle, like it just, and it's gonna snap. I have yet to hear of a new gen power bar snapping. Have you seen any? I'd love to hear it if you've seen one, but I have not. I will say, this is basically the cheaper little brother to that new gen power bar. I have literally every power bar available to me. That's the bar that I use most often. That's my favorite power bar. I absolutely love the Knurl. I have a nickel coating on it. It is just so well done. Then some other specs. They're using a Kabuknurl or Kabuknurl. Let me know in the comments what it is. Is it Kabuknurl or Kabuknurl? I'm gonna guess Kabuknurl. The Kabuknurl is similar to what they're using on the new gym power bar, but it is shallower. I will say actually in feeling, if you close your eyes, feels very similar. And there's a reason for that, I think, and I'll tell you why here in a moment. But it's a volcano type Knurl, very good Knurl. In fact, if you compare it to other Knurls that are on the market, say your Rogue Agros or your Texas Power Bar or Rep Double Black Diamond Bar, it's gonna be very similar to that. In fact, I would guess that Rep basically brought in a Kabuki bar to basically get something similar to it because it's that good of a Knurl. So it's a very well prized Knurling. In addition to that, they're using a bronze bushing or an oil-impregnated brass bushing. So basically it's self-oiling. You're never gonna have to oil them. You probably should every once in a while, but typically they're gonna spin forever. It's what I prefer in a power bar. It's gonna have some spin, but it's not gonna be so much spin that it's just gonna like be kind of unwieldy when you use it. You want some, but you don't want that thing moving all over when you're benching or any sort of like unracking, re-racking, that sort of thing. So this is gonna be right in line with that. It also is using a standard powerlifting Knurl marks. One thing about the powerlifting Knurl marks, just to call this out, they are wide boys. They're actually like double or triple the width of what you'd see on most power bars. They're just really wide. So for training, that may be kind of nice because just something to like quickly gauge. But if you're used to a thinner Knurl mark, like what you see on pretty much every bar that's out there, this one is quite a bit wider than that. I'm not really sure why they did that. It may just be a preference, or I mean, I guess it could maybe save some on Knurl tooling. Probably not a ton, but just some worth calling out. It does have a center Knurl. The Knurling is they say a full center Knurl. It feels the exact same as on the outside. I'm pretty sure it's the exact same. So it's a very aggressive center Knurl as well. Now they are using a cool end cap on this. It's a laser etched end cap. It's not quite as nice or cool, I think, as what you see from like Rep's doing, but it's definitely better than what Rogue's using on their end caps. Why, Rogue? Are you still using those sticker end caps? I don't know. You spend that much money and you get it and it's already scratched out of the box. Super annoying, but this is a laser etched, very basic, feels like a Kabuki product. You know, it's like no colors. It's just laser etched on there, but it's better than I think the stickers that we usually see. Okay, now to what I think really is the standouts of the bar. Number one is the diameter. And I say standouts, this may be positive for some of you, this may be very negative for some of you. This is a 28.5 millimeter bar. For modern power bars, they are 29 millimeters. You're like, half millimeter, what does that matter? I'm telling you, there are going to be powerlifters in the comments that think you're an absolute idiot if you lift with a 28.5 millimeter power bar. Because people love their, like very specific about their diameters of their power bars. I will say, as a barbell purist, I definitely prefer a 29 millimeter. I do, I prefer a 29 millimeter power bar. But Texas Power Bar, one of the most legendary power bars in the world, is 28.5 millimeter. And people love that bar. So you gotta decide what you like best. Basically, I think Kabuki is trying to offer multiple options. If you want a 29 millimeter, go with their new Gen Power Bar. If you want 28.5 millimeter, go with this. I will say there are some benefits and downsides of 28.5 millimeter. One, they can do a shallower knurl on this, but it's because it's thinner, it's gonna feel more aggressive. So my thought is the reason they went shallower on the knurl and are now calling it Kabuknurl or Kabuknurl, let me know in the comments, the reason that they're doing that is because it's a thinner diameter, and a thinner diameter bar is gonna feel more aggressive. So they went shallower, so really it feels very similar to what the new Gen Power Bar feels. That's my guesstimate. But a 28.5 millimeter power bar isn't gonna feel as good, in my opinion, on pressing. A bigger bar, more surface area, just feels better in hand. Same thing on back squats. When it's on your back, a bigger surface area just feels better on your back, but it will whip more, whip.
Cool whip. You're saying it weird. Why are you putting so much emphasis on the H?
What are you talking about? I'm just saying it. Cool whip.
It will whip more on deadlifts. Well, it'll whip more on every movement, but specifically more whip on deadlifts, and a thinner diameter bar on deadlifts feels better. That's why deadlift bars are 27 millimeters. So because of that, it's beneficial for one movement of the three, and I would say a detractor on 2 of the 3 movements. Because of that, that's why I like 29 millimeter, because I would rather have it feeling good on back squat and bench press and feel worse on a deadlift. And I like a stiffer bar, especially on squatting 1,000 pounds. Definitely makes a difference. But with this being said, this bar will whip more than what you see with any other 29 millimeter bar. Actually, there's another reviewer who reviewed this bar that I watched. His name's the Kurt Locker. He did a test, basically testing the whip of this bar versus some other bars, 29 millimeter bars, and it does whip more. Pretty cool test, check it out. But then the other standout feature is the Kabuknurl. Now I talked about the Kabuknurl a lot already, but it is a standout feature. Honestly, some of the best knurling I think that there is in the market. I love this knurl, and them offering it now from a pretty expensive bar now to a more budget friendly bar, I think is a standout. And then the last thing is the finish, and it's called the raw finish. Raw meaning repairable, anti-corrosion, and weather guard. So basically it's just a bare steel bar. It's a bare steel bar. They decided to call it raw, and it's like raw trademark, raw copyright, raw special, like let's give it a name. I've noticed actually Kabuki's doing this more often. It's very Apple-esque, you know, you call everything something special. The raw finish it's raw. It's a bare steel, it's not a finish. Now, one thing they are doing is they're pre-coating it from their factory in Oregon. It's pretty cool, made in the US, but they're pre-coating it with bar sauce. So they're taking the Kabuki bar sauce, which is a special proprietary blend of oils, to put on the knurling so that it will be corrosion resistant. One thing I'll say on that, when I see the bar sauce, the only comparison that I've seen, if you know of a different comparison, please let me know. The only comparison that I've seen is between bar sauce and no bar sauce. Well, oil versus no oil is definitely gonna be a big difference. If you have no oil on a bare steel bar, it's going to rust. But what I wanna see is what's the difference between 3-in-1 oil and bar sauce. That's a difference I'd like to see. So the raw finish, they tried to market it as a feature, but really it just costs less to coat it. I don't think it's a bad idea, but it's a bare steel bar. That's all it is. And then they put a coating of their bar sauce on it. So you have to decide if that's a benefit or a detractor. Like, I would not buy this if you don't want a raw finish bar, because that's what this is. I would not buy this if you don't want a bare steel bar. Buy something that's more expensive and already coated. But it's one reason that they're able to make these in Oregon, not have the scale of somebody like Rogue, and sell it for the price that they do. All right, so then let's get to value. You have so many power bars to choose from. There are so many good bars. We are absolutely blessed to have 5 billion different power bars to choose from. What are you gonna go with? This one, $300, and that sounds really good, but you also have to add 75 bucks for shipping. So it's 375 bucks. When you compare that to the market, these are what I think the comparables are, and I'm just gonna go with the 28.5 millimeter comparables, because you shouldn't buy this unless you want 28.5 millimeter. The comparables I think are one, Texas Power Bar, obviously. The Texas Power Bar is one of the most notorious legendary barbells ever. It's it's gonna be 314 bucks with shipping, at least to me in the Midwest. That's the cost, so less than. Then, if you wanna go maybe a little bit up, you have the Rogue Hybrid Power Bar, which is 28.5 millimeters. I haven't used it yet, but it does have a stainless shaft. It's using 2x aggro Knurl, and they're using their matte black proprietary finish on the sleeve. Honestly, that's probably the best 28.5 millimeter, just spec for spec. That bar is fantastic, lifetime warranty, made in USA 2 in Ohio by Rogue. Also another one, the Titan Series Power Bar, which is 260 bucks on sale right now, 320 regularly, free shipping. Of all those, if I was looking at a 20.5 millimeter bar, I'd definitely go with the Rogue. But if you're trying to stay on the more budget end, you gotta decide, do you want this or the Texas Power Bar? And that's a hard one to choose. I prefer the knurling on this. Personally, I'd probably go with this, even though I have to deal with the bare steel finish because I just coated in oil. Some people are gonna say that's absolutely heretical in the comments because they love Texas Power Bars, but for me, I just prefer the knurling on this. So those are my thoughts on the bar. It's a good bar. I don't think it's like there are so many bars to choose from. The raw finish isn't very appealing to me. I would love to see this in a nickel or something, but it'd probably be a lot more expensive. So all that said, I think it's a decent bar. It's a decent price. There's just a lot of competition. So Kabuki, to like really take some of that market share, I feel like they'd have to go cheaper, especially when you factor in the shipping of 75 bucks. That's just a lot, especially at the 190K tensile strength. Compared to, you spend a couple $100 more, you can have the new gen. I'd probably go with that one. Big price difference. Let me know what you think of the bar. What do you think about it compares to other bars on the market? Is there a power bar that you've been waiting for, that you're like, man, I really wish somebody would do this with a power bar? I'd love to hear it. Or something else we haven't done in a while, if you'd like to see me compare all of the power bars on the market, let me know in the comments and we'll do that. But this has been Coop from Garage Gym Reviews. I'll see you next time. Peace.